Welcome back everybody. Carmen here with Fresh Cut Flower Farm, and thank you for joining me today. I'm so excited. I finally got all of my seeds in and I thought I would share that with you. So these are all the seeds that I'm going to be planting out during the summer. So these are the tender annuals. It's not time to start them yet. I'm growing in a zone 6B, and my last frost date is May the 2nd. So May the 2nd is the date that I will be using as a reference of when to start all of my tender annual seeds. So I'm still just a little bit early to start starting these seeds. So let's get into it, and we'll start with the big one first, and that's the sunflowers. Last year I grew PROCUT Horizon, and I've got some of those seeds left, so I will be growing those. I really liked this sunflower. It has more of an upright habit, so it is really easy to use in bouquets. So I liked that about this sunflower. And then I also last year planted the PROCUT White Knight. And so the White Knight is the sunflower that has the kind of a creamy white petals but has the dark center. And it seemed like they did really well for me at the beginning of the season, and then after that they just didn't look very good. They had some bug damage, and the heads of the sunflower just kind of got all funky looking, and so they weren't very useful to me later on in the season. But I've got a few seeds left, and so what I thought I would do is these will be some of the first ones that I start, and maybe I can have them by Mother's Day. I thought if I could, that would look really pretty in Mother's Day bouquets. I'm hoping to have Mother's Day flowers. I didn't hit it that early this year. I did not do any fall planting the year before. So I'm hoping that by doing some fall planting this past year of the snapdragons and the other flowers, that maybe by Mother's Day I can have some bouquets to sell. And then the PROCUT Reds, I grew them last year, was not impressed by them. They're a pretty color and the customers liked them, but the heads were just so floppy that they were really difficult to use in a bouquet. But this year I got some quick dip. So I think later in the season, as when it gets closer to fall, I'll time it to where the reds will start to be ready for market maybe late August, early September. So I think that's my plan with the red ones. The main sunflower that I'm growing this year is the PROCUT Orange Excel. And this is just your classic looking sunflower. It's highly recommended by Lisa Mason Ziegler, and if anyone knows sunflowers, it's her. And so I am just following her lead on that, and this will be the primary sunflower that I will be growing all year long. The Orange Excel, the website Sunflower Selections, that's where I got all my sunflowers, said that it will bloom just a tidbit earlier than the regular orange. And remember, your PROCUTs they just have one bloom, so you would not pinch those flowers. Otherwise you lose your bloom. So it's a one and done flower. And they're pollenless. That's the upside of the PROCUTs, is that since they're pollenless, you don't have to worry about all of that pollen dripping onto, your customers' tablecloths and staining their tablecloths. So that is why a lot of flower farmers grow the PROCUT. And then I am growing the Sunfield Green. Oh, I loved this flower, and it creates such visual interest in your bouquets, and the customers loved them. They wanted to know, what is this flower, because they've never seen it before. I had never seen it until I started, till I started trying to become a flower farmer. So I love this flower, and it just adds something extra to your bouquets. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, next on my list is CRISTATA. So that is your billy balls, the yellow drumstick. Never grown these before, so I'm excited. I think they're really cool. They dry well if you're into dried flowers. I've not ventured there yet. I'm just trying to grow real ones, I guess. I don't know. I'm not ready to start drying yet. I'm not ready to go there. So, but yeah, I'm excited about this one. I don't know, they're just so darn cute. And then CERINTH. So this is also known as honeywort, and I'm growing Pride of Gibraltar. And the first time I seen this flower, I think I seen it on Florette's website, and I was like, okay, yeah, I want that. And so I got it this year. It's just such a pretty little flower, and I think it will add a lot of visual interest into my bouquets. It kind of has a drooping habit, and then it has these blue silvery bracts on there. Oh, I can't wait to grow it. I'm excited about that one. And then we've got the celosias, or celosias. So I am doing the Chief Mix. I did Chief Mix last year, loved it. The Chief Mix has the reds, the yellows, the golds, the persimmon colors, and this is the CRISTATA. So it's the celosia that looks like a brain almost. So it's got those grooves in it. And customers love this one. It's just unusual. And then I've also got PAMPAS Plume. I grew this one last year. It's a good one, and this just is the plume mix with all the different colors. Right now I buy a lot of mixes because I'm not catering to florists. I'm just doing my farmer's market. So there's no demand for any particular color like you would have if you were catering more to your florists. So yeah, so that's a good one, and they're easy to grow. The celosias are. Oh, spring green. I'm doing this celosia spring green. So this one is, so those two, your PAMPAS Plume and your Chief Mix, you would pinch those. And I would recommend pinching them because, especially with my Chief Mix, the ones I didn't pinch, that central stem was so large. I mean, it was like at least the size of a celery stick. It was so big around and just difficult to use in a bouquet. So recommend pinching that one. Okay, sidetracked. Back to the spring green. The spring green you would not pinch because it's just a single bloomer. Okay, it's just one and done. And these seeds are definitely more expensive than the others, but my customers loved green flowers. So, and this is highly recommended flower. So I'm excited about this one. Also, one thing that I read on the culture sheet of this particular variety, it says that it forms a taproot. Since it forms a taproot, you do not want to leave it in your tray too long because you could damage the root and then stunt your growth. So it's better to plant too late than too early. So if you have the option of starting your seeds this week or next week, you would be better to wait till next week. I find that holds true with any seeds that you start. You're always better off to start a little late than too early. So personal experience there, because I can't tell you how many times last year, you know, you get all gung-ho about getting your seeds started, and then you need to plant your seeds, and you can't plant whether, you know, weather or time, whatever it is. So you're always better off to be a little late than too early. And then the next thing that I'm planting is AGERATUM. I did Blue Horizon last year, and I've got some of that left. And then I ordered Timeless Mix this year. I love this flower. Just real pretty, dainty blue, purple, like flowers on it. I've not grown the Timeless Mix before, but I would almost say that I like the greenery, the foliage of the Ageratum more so than the flower. It looks stunning in bouquets. There was several times I went out and I cut stems that had not bloomed, and they just look amazing in a bouquet. So something to keep in mind. And then what else do I got? GOMPHRENA. So I've got the tall mix GOMPHRENA. This stuff, they're almost like zinnias. They're so easy to grow and so prolific. They're just kind of a pain in the tuchus to harvest because they get all tangled up and you have to harvest a lot. It's about like bachelor's buttons. That's why I didn't grow bachelor buttons this year, was because they're just a pain to harvest. But the GOMPHRENA, I just think it adds a lot to the bouquet, and I always take extra of the GOMPHRENA because they're great to give away to the little kiddos. You know, they're inexpensive, and yeah, the kids, you hand a kiddo a flower and you're their best friend forever. And then we've got the zinnias. I got the BENARY'S giant Dahlia Blue Point mix is what I'm growing there. I grew this last year. Great germination, easy to grow, lots and lots of blooms. So like that one. And then I also this year I'm doing the Queen Mix. I have grown the Queen Mix before, just out for, you know, personal use several years ago. I didn't grow it last year, but I'm growing it this year because I think the Queen Mix is so pretty. And then RUDBECKIA. This year I've got Indian Summer. Last year I grew Prairie Sun and Cherry Brandy. Yeah, did not have great luck with that, which is odd. I mean, that RUDBECKIA should be like, you know, you should be able to grow it in your sleep. Yeah, it looked like I had been sleeping while I was growing it because it was terrible. I didn't get good germination. I didn't get long, strong stems. I bet my Cherry Brandy never got above 12 inches, so I don't know what the deal was with it. And every time I cut it, it always seemed to be like it just wilted right away. I never could keep it hydrated. I don't know. I'm going to have to do some more homework on how to grow that. It should be easy. That's frustrating. And then I did not grow any grasses last year, but this year I'm growing green drops. I read that this was a good substitute for millet. I think millet, a couple places that I checked were already sold out, and so I'm excited to grow that. It looks really pretty. And straw flower, last one. Straw flower, no, not the last. Which one's this? Apricot Peach Mix. I grew this last year, and I grew the vintage white last year. I did not order any more straw flower. I've got quite a bit of this left, but I wasn't going to grow it this year. Last year I planted it out early spring, so 6 to 8 weeks before my last frost. And the first few flowers looked really pretty, and then it just went downhill from there. I'm not sure what happened. They just looked dirty and just didn't bloom right. I don't know. But I started some later and put them just out into my landscape, I don't know, in the middle of summer, and those did really well. So I think that straw flowers are just not a cold hardy annual down in my 6B. So I decided I am going to try it again. Everything deserves a second chance, so I'm going to try it again and see how it does this year. And then I've got my basils, of course. So I've got my lemon basil, and then I've got cinnamon basil. everyone at the market, anytime they would come to my booth, they immediately just went to smelling the flowers, and they smell that lemon basil, and it just puts a smile on their face. So that is all of the seeds that I'm growing. I think I'll take you all downstairs and we'll have a look at how my snapdragons are coming along. Looky here. I am so happy with how the snapdragons have done. So this is the rocket mix. And you can see how they're doing. I mean, almost 100% germination. And then remember the apple blossom that I told you about that I just don't have good luck with? So this is that one. And I've got a few more. What, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Maybe they're just some that are super slow to germinate. And these back here I think are the night and day snapdragons. I don't have good germination with them either, and I didn't last year. So, and then over here we've got Snap Potomac. Really good germination with them as well. This back block here, where you're not seeing anything other than that one, that is more of the apple blossom mix. Here we've got the Madam Butterfly Ivory. Do any of you ever have this problem where the seed just doesn't come off? I don't know if you can see that right there. If you do, what do you do about it? I've been able to pick some of them off. Oh wait, you know what? I had also heard that they will start, if that happens, they will start coming up from the bottom. And if you look right there, on that one, it is. And then back here, there's another one right there where it's coming up from the bottom. So maybe they'll fix themselves. And I see another one back there that's coming up. And then here, what do I got here? Okay, here's Status QIS Mix. It's coming along nicely. And then we've got, what do we got? This is Snap Opus Mix. And again, this block back here, that's Apple Blossom. Let's see the Maryland Mix. Good germination there. Here I've got my Atriplex. It's coming along. This is the Maryland Mix and Apple Blossom right there. This is Green Mist, Ami Green Mist. And then on the other side is Dara. It's taken it about 10 days to germinate. And then down here I've got my yarrow on that side. And then on this side, what do we got? Scabiosa, what is that? Salmon Queen. And then we've got Scabiosa Summer Fruits, and then Scabiosa Snow Maiden. Look at the anemones that we potted up. There's snow outside, and I just don't know when I'm going to be able to get them in the ground. I'm nervous. And then here is the ranunculus. Right there. So there's an update on how everything's doing. I'm so happy. I've got good germination on everything, better than I have in the past, which I think the more you do it, the better you get. So you just got to do it. So I'm so happy, and I will keep you updated on the progress. I'm hoping the next video is going to be me getting the beds prepped and for the ranunculus and anemones and getting them in the ground because they need to go or I'm going to have anemones blooming in my basement. Oh, I thought I seen a bud. I thought, oh crap. Okay, well that's it for this video. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.